Okay, it is time to talk about something. I haven't been live here in a while. I want to talk about how to accelerate your income. Number one question I get out in public, on social media, people want to make more money. So if you want to make more money, listen to what I'm about to say. I'm going to do a short version and a long version. So I'm going to get to the point real quick in the beginning, then I'm going to elaborate on it. So your goal for the rest of this year should be to accelerate your income. Not because money is the most important thing, but money is like air. When you don't have it, you need it. And that's all you can think about it. And it dominates your life. So you got to get to a place where it's just like breathing, where you've got enough of it, you feel good, then you can do all the other stuff you want to have. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you study that, one of the most famous things in psychology, you have all these levels, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And you don't have to go into all of them, but at the bottom you have physiological needs. That's food, water, shelter. And it just keeps going up, and it adds things like, self-actualization at the top, and it has love and all. But love and friendship, you can't do that when you haven't fulfilled the most important things, which is food, water, shelter. And in the modern world, you don't grow your own food, you do not definitely build your own house. Most people don't. You might, but it's rare. So that means you got to have money to get those things accomplished. So I remember at a point, I've been at different stages financially in my life. Fortunately now, life is, when it comes to finances, I'm not under that burden, but I was. So if you're feeling stressed out, watch this. If you're feeling stressed about the next bills that are coming due at the end of the month, or maybe you're in debt, pay attention, because they do not teach this in school. I mean, they teach little parts. They talk about, if you take a psychology class, they'll talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but they won't give you a practical application. So I want to give you some practical things you can do this week to actually begin to accelerate your income. And you want it to be like a snowball. Here's how your income will be if you do it right. And it's the same for everybody, by the way. And I don't care if you think you're special or entitled to something. This is how almost every human's income goes that's doing well financially. Everybody starts from nothing, unless you're a trust fund kid. I'm not, when I was born to a single mom, there's no trust fund like that for me. So I had to learn this the other way. It looks like a mountain. And here's you on day one. So when I was 18 years old, you're no longer, I left home at 18. I come, and life looks like this huge mountain financially. And at some point, I was sleeping on a couch. In my teenage years, I lived on a mobile home. At one point, didn't even have a room. I was sleeping in a living room in a mobile home. And life seemed insurmountable financially. And so what I did was I began to study what other successful outliers have done. Here's the word you want to write down. If you're taking notes, which I think you should do, this will be worth your time. Outliers. There's actually a book by Malcolm Gladwell all about this outliers concept. What outliers means is the people that rise above normal, the people who rise above the crowd, who aren't average. And if you study the outliers in history, and you study the outliers who are alive now, let's take somebody like Steve Jobs, who's not alive now, but he was an outlier. He was an exceptional person that built Apple, which is now became the first $1 trillion company. By the way, Jeff Bezos started Amazon, is also now a $1 trillion company. That's pretty amazing, and that's rare. So I began to study people through reading, through traveling the world. I traveled to almost every continent on the planet. I didn't go to Antarctica, but I got close. And I began to meet the outliers. And I remember one was Gary Townsend in New Zealand. He became a mentor at a time in my life when I ran out of money and I was traveling the world. I'd saved up a little money. At one point, I was right here, just enough money, but not enough money to get out of New Zealand. So I was stuck in New Zealand. I had to shear sheep to save enough money to get out of there. I went to Ireland. Somebody stole my jacket when I was in a nightclub in New Zealand. Right after I had gotten enough money to buy a ticket to Ireland, I landed in Ireland in February. It's funny looking back, I don't realize I did not have enough money to buy another jacket. I had enough money to get a plane ticket, and I caught pneumonia. Don't ever go to Ireland in February without a jacket. But that's the place I was at. I literally, if somebody stole my jacket, I didn't have enough money to replace it. And so I can empathize with you if you're like under pressure right now. But follow me here. You got to study the outliers. And there's different outliers. There's famous ones like Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, I liked a lot. But there's other outliers that, like a guy like Gary Townsend, he was somebody who I'd never heard of. He was a multimillionaire. He had set up his businesses. I remember, he was one of the first people I ever met that had set up his businesses that he didn't have to work that much. He said, Tai, I like to think more than I work. I set up my income, so I got income coming, recurring, passive income, and he had a yacht. It wasn't a big yacht. He wasn't a billionaire or anything, but he was wealthy. And he would go on his yacht the majority of the week because he said I would think. And that's what I began to learn, that life wasn't just about hard work. It was also about discipline, logic, the ability to step aside and plan out your future like a general of an army and not just always be in the battle. You can't always be in the battle. You got to step out of the battle. But if you don't have any money right now, it may be because you're in the heart of the battle. Patrick Pantang said, how's the profits going? I have the Bitcoin cryptocurrency mastermind course and I've made decent profits. Cool. Magma Camerupt says, Tai, let's say you had $10,000. What would you do with it to benefit yourself? Cool. Keelian Brown on Twitter says, this man literally has millions and takes the time to help others. Good to see you back. You haven't been live for a while. I've been on my ranch. I bought about 500 acres. I bought 4 different places. You've probably seen them on my Snap. I think I have 12 or 14 horses right now, going back to my roots. And so I've been away from this. So I'm back. Outliers. Who are the outliers you should study? Famous ones, not so famous ones. But without that, you will never ascend, because here's the dream for each of you. You start out with nothing. You grind, you work, you think, you study, and it's like pushing a big snowball. You're pushing a snowball up the hill. And remember, the snowball accumulates snow, and it gets a little harder to push. So there's a point in your life, and everybody, whether it's Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, there's a point where you're pushing this to make more money. You're trying to accelerate your income, and it doesn't seem like it's working because it accumulates snow and gets harder to push. And what that is, that's a metaphor for the realities of life. When, let's say somebody like Mark Cuban, some of you have seen the video when he was over here at the house, and he was telling me that his first business, as it grew and he was accelerating his income, more problems. You ever heard the saying, more money, more problems? It's true. All of a sudden you got employees that are weird. You have investors that are like, where's our money back? You have bankers, you have the IRS. So what he learned was, wow, it's hard here. But here's the dream. I hope each of you, this is called the inflection point right here. What that means is, this is the point of change, where things really change. Because the snowball's gotten bigger and bigger, and by the time here, it seems like you should give up because it's not working. And some of you are in that stage where it's not working for you right now. Like you're working hard, you're studying, you've got mentors, but it's still not quite working. I want to tell you, don't give up now. There's an ancient Chinese saying that says, the temptation to give up is greatest right before you're about to succeed. Because if this is a hill, and this is the snowball of money, what happens when you hit this inflection point area at the top? Now the ball is heavier, but eventually the heaviness and the weight of the snowball, how hard is it to push a snowball down the hill? It's the simplest thing in the world. A 5-year-old, you could just push. And that is the point where you have active and passive income. I call this A1, A2, because you usually want to have more than one. And passive income kicks in, and you're making money. Let me pull up an app on my Let me see if I even logged in. See if Alex has his, let me log into my Stripe real quick. So this is a business, just for example, that I started in 2016, Mentor Box. I haven't even looked at the active and passive income, but I'm passive. I haven't worked on the business actively. I work about an hour a month on it. Let me log into Stripe here. Let's see what we've done passively today with drop shipping books and also book summaries online and stuff like that. So, okay, there we go. Good, last time I checked, my login was on. So here we go, today. You can see this, I'll show it over here. Today, so far, the day's not over. $17,000, $17,300 to be precise. 785 payments were made today. In the last 4 weeks, it's done $884,000. Okay, so it's an 8-figure business. We've cracked the 8-figure, and I'm working on that business 1 hour a month. It's not bad, right? And there's profit too. It's profitable business. So it's not just all being spent. I could sit back from this. I own many businesses, but just this one business here, Mentor Box, I could not do any work and probably I could pull 6 figures a month from it. So that means I've reached inflection point with that business. This boulder, or this snowball, I should say, it now was heavy. It was hard to get up to here, but once it's here, the heaviness means it goes on its own. And that's what they don't teach you in school. Because what they teach you in school, think of it, is exactly the opposite. Basically, you're going to start out, you're going to go to college, you're going to get a 9-to-5 job, and the average person who has a job gets a 3% raise per year. That means every 22 years, your income will double. So that means once in your lifetime, if you start out making $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, you'll be at 6 figures in 22 years. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? That's like a very slow crawl. And you know what happens? People become despondent. They become burnt out. They hate their life. 80% of people in the world, they did a global survey. Not sure who did it, but it's roughly right. 80% of people do not like their job. Just ask most people you meet on the street, like, hey, do you love your job? Most people are like, no. And so you got to get on this track. So there is an element of challenge and hard work. It's not a get-rich-quick thing. But if you do it right, it eventually, the snowball runs on its own. So how do we get there? Jupiter Urion says he hates his job. Nakia says burnout. Jada Marie says he's got a point. Somebody asked me to do a Fortnite dance now. I don't think most people on here would rather hear me talking about accelerating income. So what is the trick? What is the set of secret principles, you could call them, that I learned from these outliers? Here's what I learned from the outliers. Let's get into it, okay? Then I'm going to answer some questions. By the way, I'm going to talk, I've got my version of a business school. It's not a university or anything like that. I've called it the Business Accelerator. I'm going to open that up. I don't think I've opened it up for like 1 or 2 years. In 2014, I took a group of people. I remembered it was December 2014, and I did a call like this. I don't even think there was Facebook Live. I think I did it on one of those what was it? There's one of these software that back then you could go live with. It wasn't social media. And I said, I'm going to help people accelerate their income. I built since I didn't go to college, I built like my version of college, which is not a college degree. It's not about a piece of paper or a credential. It's about actually learning stuff. And that was before my Here in My Garage video, by the way. That was December 2014. And when I launched that was when it was a test. Could I transfer what I learned from my mentors and transfer it to other people who, around the world who aren't even in person? And it started to work. So let's go right here. Number 1, what did I learn from these outlets? So anyway, I was going to say, I'm going to open that back up. I don't think I've had it open for the last at least a year, maybe 2 years. So if you stay towards the end, the The reason I put it at the end is because I want people who are very serious to get in here. It's not for everybody. Okay, so the 1, 2, 3, what do you got to know? What do you have to know? Well, as I alluded to, and I'll try to get into this, you got to have A1 plus A2. You could kind of put these in parentheses, even though that's not how you do a math formula, but just for the sake of paper. Okay, you got to have your A1 and your A2, and these have to feed into your P1. You can have a P2 also, and that has to feed into your lifestyle. So you have to reverse engineer. That's the thing. This is active income. You need at least 2 sources of income. Okay, you need at least 2. The average millionaire has 7 sources of income, but you need at least 2. Then you need some passive income. That's the most millionaires in the world come from passive income sources like real estate, things like that. Sometimes the stock market. And sometimes it's not fully passive, but sometimes it's active and passive. There's a gray area. But you got to focus on your lifestyle. Like, what do you want out of life? Maybe you don't need to make $1 million a year. Maybe you just need to make $100,000 a year. So I start now. Some people ask me, Tai, what's your end game? What's your goal? You're trying to become the richest person in the world, da, 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 da. And I go, no. I know what my lifestyle goals are. I like to travel. If you watch my social media, I'm traveling the world. Right now I've been traveling mostly in America, but before traveling the world. I like to be in the city. I like doing stuff in the city. I like the hustle and the bright lights and that, but I also like to go to the country and be around horses. So I'm like 50% of my time is spent in the city, 50% out. So I like to read. I like to meet interesting people. I like basketball. I like dog. I got all this stuff. So I focus on lifestyle. Then I go, how much money do I need to make? So number 2 is you got to reverse engineer it based around lifestyle. This is a huge thing. I realize I haven't talked about this much, but I realize I made a mistake by not talking about this because, or else people just, I got people now going, there's a guy, I don't know if you've seen my videos called my 300 group, where I'm documenting myself and the courses I have, helping 300 people go from rags to riches. So I got these, now it's crazy world. There's a kid who's, I don't know, under 25, making $1 million a year from zero. If you can go on my YouTube, put in 300 group. I've been doing these dinners, and I realized, wait a second, these people are starting to get too greedy, because now they're 22, making $1 million, netting $400,000, $500,000 a year. In fact, there's a guy in my inner circle that some of you might have seen. He made $7 million gross. I think he netted $1 million. I was at a club and I didn't even know who was there. He sent me a bottle, one of those big bottles. But I realize now I got to talk to people about the other side of the equation, which is how the heck you got to revert. If you don't know what your lifestyle is, you'll just get greedier and greedier, and you'll never make time for the enjoyable things of life. That's why you meet people that are rich, but their family sucks. They're fat. You know what I mean? They die. They have a heart attack at 45. All the money in the world doesn't make sense. It doesn't help you if you die, right? Not a very profound statement, but it's true. So if I can meet those people, I'll be like, you forgot the key is the reverse engineering off the lifestyle goals, okay? And then number 3, you have to buy in. And this is technical, this is mental. You got to have a combination, by the way. To make money, accelerate your income, you have to have changes in 2 areas. You got to increase your technical knowledge, how to do Facebook ads, how to do entrepreneurship, how to increase your persuasion and sales and closing skills, how to raise money from investors, how to do, social media marketing and branding, like all those components you have to have. But then don't leave out, you got to change the mindset. And the biggest mindset thing that I've been training people, I've got interns here working for me, some new ones. The last couple of days we're working here, we're doing a test and a trial. And I was thinking, man, what do I teach them about mindset? In a short period of time, that gets the most bang for the buck. and it's buying in. That's the one advantage I had over most of my friends. It wasn't that I was smarter. I didn't start out with more money than them. I bought in. Well, here's what I mean by that. I found a mentor, he told me, his name was Alan Nation. He said, Tai, he was like 60 years old. He's dead now. He said, every person that I've ever met that's rich reads a lot. So you should read. And he told me that when I was 19. And I already read a good bit, but I bought in on day one. My learning curve, most people's learning curve is like 10 years. You ever tried to teach somebody something that's not ready to learn? They're kind of stupid. Even a smart person can be stupid if they're not ready to learn. What I discovered was the quicker you buy in mentally, if someone smart tells you something, just buy in and people go, oh man, does that mean you just listen and do what other people say and you're just a pushover and you have no opinions of your own? No, that's not what it means. It means, I have a 67-step lesson about this. You have to know who's in the room. So for example, if Jeff Bezos walks in the room and starts talking about how to sell online, you listen a lot, versus if some idiot friend of yours that's never made $1 goes, oh, I know the secret to making money online. Ignore him, don't buy into his message, but buy in. And you know Jeff Bezos, who's now the richest man alive, you know one of the reasons he is? Read the book. There's a book called The Everything Store. It's a biography of Jeff Bezos. He bought a book, Jeff Bezos. Remember, for all you that think books aren't important, what did the richest man in the world start selling in the 1990s with Amazon? What was Amazon at first? Books. So don't ever get twisted up in your head and go, oh, rich people don't read. The richest man in the world not only reads, but his first business was books. That's why I started a business mentor box. I bought in. I thought, the richest man in the world did a business around books. Why don't I do it? See, that's the buy-in. Most people fight me on this. They don't, in fact, most people don't even, it's even worse than buying in. Most people fight you. But as my mentor told me, don't try to teach a pig to fly. You can't do it, and it bothers the pig. Most people are pig-headed in terms of stubbornness. So somebody said, Soccer96 said, Tai, video games are the new books, bro. Whatever. If you think that, I'll put it this way. The more people get addicted to video games, and there's nothing wrong with playing video games in a healthy way, but the more people addicted to video games, the easier it's going to be for you to make money, because people aren't going to work. I get people contacting me that say they're literally addicted, like Alcoholics Anonymous. They're like, how do I break my addiction to video games? If you're playing 3 to 6 hours of video games, that's fine, but just know this, somebody's going to pass you by financially, because while you're sitting there, while you're sitting there in an imaginary world, other people are going to be in the real world. And it's okay to be in the imaginary world, but everything in balance. Everything in balance. That's how life goes, man. And so buy into stuff. Even this message, sometimes it's been interesting. I've been on social media, now reached hundreds of millions of people have watched my videos. I just look at this number. This is crazy. This is a number I haven't posted. I don't know if I've ever posted this, but this is one of my YouTube channel stats. And I just passed in terms of how many. Now this is minutes watched, which is even better than views, because a view could only be, 30 seconds. So this is since August. You see, it starts in 2015. I had a channel in 2013, but I never posted until the end of 2014. So here I'm at 1.6, my phone's cracked, but 1.6 billion minutes watched. It's a lot. If you count Facebook and other places, I'm over 2 billion minutes watched. So here's the thing. I've been watching how slowly people buy into messages. When I first started sharing this message, people were like, oh, this house is an Airbnb. I'm like, does this house look like an Airbnb? You can't rent an Airbnb. How long have I been here? Since 2015. When people go, oh, will you lease some of your Lamborghinis? Yes, because smart people lease cars. The richest people in the world, they get offshore companies, and then they lease things back to themselves for tax purposes. Use your brain, man. But again, see, people, instead of buying in, people want to fight. What's the opposite of buying in mentally? Fighting. And Joel Salatin used to tell me, Tai, I don't mind carrying a man, but I don't want him to drag his feet. Just worry about yourself financially, because I could tell you from being in the game of trying to help people learn about finances, most people fight you. Somebody said, Tai, so H3H3 lied to us when he exposed you? Watch my video on his podcast. I asked him. I've done 3 videos. He did 1 video on me and then without me, and then he came to my house and we did 1, and then he invited me back to his podcast, and I told him, I said, his name's not H3H3, his name's Ethan. I said, Ethan, remember when you said this house is on Zillow as like a day rental? I said, you do know the White House is on Zillow. And he goes, what? I thought being on Zillow, every house in America is on Zillow. So I'm friends with Ethan, but he had to learn that everything's on Zillow. It means nothing. But most people want to fight. Very few people buy in. Don't be a sucker, but don't be a cynic. Cynics always lose. At some point, to make money, you have to be an optimist. I promise you. Google that first picture of Jeff Bezos. I think it's 1994. He's sitting in a little teeny office. I'm talking teeny, junky desk. He has a spray painted sign that says Amazon. He couldn't even afford a sign. That man was an opposite. Did I say opposite? Yeah. Optimist. Sorry, I was thinking about something else. That man was an optimist. He wasn't a cynic. All the cynics stay. You know how many people could have started Amazon? How simple of an idea was it when the internet came out? If that's not a genius idea, hey, we're just going to sell things online instead of having to go to Sears, instead of having to go to JCPenney. So this dude goes, wait a second, people are going to want to buy stuff online. I'll make a store. I'll call it Amazon, like the Amazon River, which is huge. I'm going to make a huge place where people can buy stuff, and now it's $1 trillion company. He was an optimist. He wasn't a cynic. Now, let's go back to this here. A1, A2, reverse engineering lifestyle. Let me go a little deeper now and give some more practical stuff. Any questions that people have before I jump into this? Drive and attitude are everything. Somebody said on Instagram.
Someone's asking about the book that you brought up.
The book I brought up about Jeff Bezos?
Yeah.
Is called The Everything Store. It's not written by him. It's not an autobiography. It's a biography. Any advice on how to download podcasts? Yeah, there's a podcast app if you have an iPhone. Christy said, loving your lifestyle, Tai. Ali said, Tai, we're trying to get where you're at, slowly but patiently. Okay. Let's talk about this. Let's go real practical here. How do you do this stuff? Well, this one has to happen in your mind. I don't have a solution. So, how do you make somebody not stubborn? I don't know. How do you change somebody from pessimist to optimist? Hypnotize them? Let them smoke weed? I don't know. Give them a lobotomy? Here's the things you got to know. 3 things you got to know. And I'm going to draw it like this. So here's wealth right here. You got to build a foundation for wealth. It's got to be built on just 3 things. That's all. The foundations of wealth are 3 main categories. First one is personal finance. You have to become, and this is different than wealth. So I'll get into what I mean. Personal finance is number 1, foundation here. Number 2 is entrepreneurship. Okay? And number 3 is what I call persuasion. That's sales skills. These are the 3 things that bring an acceleration in income. Wherever you want that income to go, whether you want it to go to 50,000, 70,000, or 70 million, it's all built on these 3 things. All built. You will not find one exception to this rule. Jeff Bezos Elon Musk, they understand personal finance or else you'll lose all your money. There's some of you watching right now. You're going to learn entrepreneurship and you're good at persuasion. You're going to make $1 million and one of your friends is going to steal it from you. Mark my words. I guarantee you on this live call right now, one person is literally about to make $1 million and have it stolen within 18 months. Why? Because they don't know personal finance, how to invest your money, how to put in the stock market, how to work with banks, how to work with the IRS, or where if you're outside the US, taxes, tax planning. You got to know all that. You got to know a little bit about insurance. You know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the most famous basketball players, highest paid basketball players of all time. If you remember, he had to go back and play basketball for the Lakers in his 40s when he wasn't as good because he forgot to get insurance on his house. He had one of the most expensive Oriental rug collections in the world. His house caught on fire and he had no insurance. He didn't know personal finance that he should get. If you own a lot of art, you get special insurance policies. Wealthy people know this, but he was born not wealthy and nobody trained him this. Even though he went to UCLA, nobody ever said, hey, take a class on personal finance, get fire insurance for your stuff. And so he lost, I don't know, $20, $30 million, went up in smoke one day. You think you had a bad day today? No, you have not. When you wake up and $30 million is on fire, that is a bad day. I mean, some of you might have had a worse, I don't know what would be a worse day than that, but maybe finding out, you know, you're diagnosed with a terminal disease. But in terms of, besides health things, if your best lover, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife says to you, I want a divorce today, that'll be a sad day. Or I'm leaving you for the milkman. Your girlfriend leaves you, your boyfriend, that's a bad day. It ain't worse than waking up and $30 million is on fire and it just goes up. I mean, that's a bad day. And he didn't know personal finance. So once you got personal finance, that's level 1. This is the bachelor's degree you need. Then you got to learn entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs create wealth from nothing. Those are the people like Jeff Bezos that takes an idea from their head, because I guarantee you every person you've ever met at one point in their life will have one good money-making idea, but they don't know how to build it. Entrepreneurship, when you hear that big fancy French word, entrepreneur, what the heck does that mean? Entrepreneur? I'll give you the practical. It's a French term. You know, some people define it as a person who takes risk. Forget all that. I'll give you the common sense way of understanding that term. It means one thing. People who make something out of nothing, who make money from scratch. That's an entrepreneur. Jeff Bezos is one. Elon Musk, from scratch, he starts PayPal. A little bit of money. Boom. Sells it, takes $100 million, starts Tesla, starts SpaceX. Okay, that's a freaking entrepreneur. Now, what makes you extra wealthy, if you study outliers, is this third pillar. So this is a equivalent, it's not a degree, but if you ask me to train you, the 3 things I'm gonna train you are right here. Personal financial planning, you gotta know that, you can't be stupid. Not just fire insurance, but other things. Your tax planning, like I said, how to structure your businesses. Entrepreneurship, how to take an idea and turn it into dollars, like magic. You know how a magician takes just like, whoosh, and pulls a dove out of his hat? Nothing. Forget that. Pull $1 million out. I remember the first time I made $1 million in 1 hour. Okay? I wish I did that all the time, but I don't. But I've done it. And I felt like a magician. It's literally bank account I've seen go up $1 million in an hour. And that's entrepreneurship right there. But the final, if you really want to, the PhD of accelerating your income, the PhD is very simple. You got to know persuasion and skills. There's a great book on this subject. They studied billionaires. It's called The Self-Made Billionaire Effect. It's written by 2 CPAs. I forget the name of it, but just Google it. Self-Made Billionaire Effect. If you read it, the number 1 takeaway is 70% of billionaires, the ultra wealthy people, were masters and had spent a long time in sales and marketing. So you got to build that. Again, they don't teach, not one of these is taught in junior high, high school. And a lot of it isn't still, unless you take a finance degree, this isn't taught in university either. You need the bachelor's, you need the master's, and if you want to go far, you need the PhD in money. That's the bachelor's of money, the master of money, and the PhD. So who here, let's do a little level. Who here thinks they have 1, 2, or 3 of these things? Let's hear. Who's got one? Who thinks they have all 3? I hope nobody's too cocky here. Sorry, I got to check my messages for a second. All right. Nico says he's been doing sales training. Chuk Taylor says 2. Kumar says he has none of them. John Anderson says he has 33 of them. That's more than even exists. 2 out of 3, Chase Brockman. Johnny Godoy on Insta says 0 out of 3. Taylor Pugh says none. I don't know, it's a crazy world. Sometimes I wonder, what are parents doing? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I don't want to criticize parents, but am I crazy to think that parents have you for 18 years? Wouldn't it be good to equip your kids with any of this? I mean, a few parents do, but 1% of parents give their kids these skills. And maybe it's because the parents never got it from their parents, so it's a never-ending financial suicide cycle. Boom, boom, boom. And then you go to school. School's supposed to teach you what your parents don't know, but the teachers don't even have this. Do you think most teachers teaching kids were trained in personal finance, entrepreneurship, and persuasion? And then some people go, well, Tai, money's not everything. I just want to be an artist. I want to be a writer. I don't want to learn these things. I got news for you. Welcome to planet Earth. Welcome to the modern world. Everybody. If I had a kid who wants to be an artist, what's up, Lexi? Lexi. Lexi's not sure what's going on. Lexi. I don't know what I was going to say. Yeah. I was just saying, no matter what you want to do, even if you hate money, you still got to know all 3, man, or else you're going to be working for the man in a job you don't like, and you're going to be underpaid for the next 20, 30 years. What kind of dog is that? That dog is a mix of German Rottweiler, and I think she's part German Shepherd. So, the dream is that you had 18 years of training for this from your parents and the school system, or at least you got 4 years of this in college, or at least you got, 4 years here, 2 years here. Most PhDs are 4 years, 10 years here, but you don't. So that's why you don't have money. That's why I didn't have money, man. That's why you do not have money. Now, I don't know why it's like that. Some people say it's a conspiracy, it's the Illuminati, it's the system, it's the government that wants to keep people working as laborers. That's what Karl Marx would have said in Das Kapital. You know, not that you have to be a communist, but I've read his book. That's what he said. You know, it's like the proletariat and the bourgeois. The bourgeois are exploiting the proletariat. The rich are exploiting the poor. There's all these theories. I'm not going to get into that philosophy. People have been arguing that from the beginning of time, and no one really knows. But I will tell you this. While everybody else is arguing, I'm just trying to live the life that I want to live, that's enjoyable and fun, and that's free, and that's prosperous. I'll let all the other people argue it. Don't get too into conspiracy theories. It's fine. There are some conspiracies in the world, but what matters is that you get the life you want. That's all that matters. So, somebody said the rich can't exist without the poor. You know, there's all these theories on it. I'm not going to go into that. You figure, you guys who are economic professors and those types, you can go down that. I'm going to try to actually do it. It's like people, It's like philosophizing about having sex. It's like, oh, and you're like doing diagrams, and then some people are actually doing it and enjoying it. Which would you rather be? Would you like to be like, oh yes, I've diagrammed out the human reproductive system? Okay, some people need to do that, OBGYNs or something. But for the rest of us, it's just like, nah, I just want to live life and do that thing that I like. So, what do we do? What are the elements of personal finance? As I mentioned, I was a CFP. I'm not anymore. I let it expire, but a certified financial planner for like more than a decade. And there I learned, the core. I'm not even going to go into it, but you got the core. There's 5 main parts of personal finance. There's investing, so the stock market. I would add to that real estate. So I would put here investing, banking, taxes, understanding taxes, insurance. In America, if you don't do it right, in the state of California, you make $1 million, well, a little more than that, you'll pay 52% of it in taxes. Okay, so taxes, insurance, estate planning, and I would add real estate to this because everybody should have some investment in real estate. Everybody. Real estate, it's the simplest concept in business to think about. Why wouldn't you want to own some of the block that you live on? People are paying rent. Why not pay the rent to you? Okay? Now, entrepreneurship is based around 6 Ps. The 6 Ps of entrepreneurship. The first one is the personnel. You have to be a master at attracting the right people to run your businesses, the right managers, Warren Buffett would call them. Then the next one is you have to understand what I call pesos, which is capital. You have to raise investment capital in general. Sometimes you can do it from your own money. Sometimes you can do it from family and friends. And sometimes you got to go to VCs and banks. And sometimes you do it as debt and sometimes as equity. But that's what I call that. You got to be a master of that. Then you need to be a master of what I call pricing. Now, this would be, in this case, would be your accounting and HR for your business. Not on the personal side, but here, that's the nitty gritty. Then after this, you have to be a master of the product. Actually, these are out of order. Product is like, what are you gonna sell? If you sell the wrong thing, nobody will buy and you will go broke. So you have to understand how to develop products and come up and test products. Then after that, you have what I call promotions. That's the marketing. In the modern world, the future is gonna be Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Twitter ads, Snapchat ads, Instagram ads, banner ads, Google AdWords, display, email marketing, affiliate programs, email drops you can do, pop unders. There's lots of stuff. And so that's all under promotions. And I put also in there, you need usually a phone sales team depending on your business. And then the last one of the P's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6th P is what's called placement, meaning you have to know how to get the product after they buy into people's hands. Apple made Apple stores and you can buy online. They have 2 forms of placement. In the modern world, if you have a website, this is where your programmers are. So that's a lot of stuff to learn. It's a lot of stuff. That's why I said it would have been better if this was taught to you over 18 years in school and at home, but it's not. This is amazing. If this isn't the biggest tragedy on planet Earth almost, I mean, besides disease and stuff like that and murder or something, this is also the biggest scam in the world. I always think it's funny that sometimes people think that what I'm talking about is a scam. I'm like, you already been scammed. If you went through the modern school system from 0 to 18, including parents, and you didn't learn this stuff, you already got scammed, my friend. You already got scammed. And if you think me talking about this is a scam, you're too stupid to understand what I'm saying. That I don't want to sound rude, but that's just like, hey, I'd rather be honest with people. Get your brain power up. Okay, persuasion skills. What are the components of good persuasion? The first thing is you have to understand the 25 cognitive biases. This is insanely powerful. Basically you could just stop there. There's 25 things you have to learn. So those are things like reward bias, senescence bias, chemical bias, things, association bias, Pavlovian responses. So the way that humans decide things basically goes down a decision-making tree that has 25 branches. And you have to understand, that's the PhD in making money. As you understand that, that's what that's what Steve Jobs, Apple is the greatest marketing team and brand of all time. Mathematically, it's the first company to reach $1 trillion. It's a little bigger than Amazon. Jeff Bezos was a master of marketing. He wasn't even that good at computer stuff. Steve Wozniak did a lot of the technical stuff, but he understood what made people click. He understood psychology. And once you understand association bias and aversion bias and consistency commitment bias, and you understand all these biases, then you can get people to see your side of the story. Get people to see, and see, sales and persuasion is not about taking advantage of people. It is about getting them to see your side of the story. I posted a tweet yesterday that got a lot of likes. I don't know, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 last time I checked. And what I said is, almost everybody you ever meet only sees life from their selfish side of the story. So whatever you tell them, they're interpreting only through the lens of, oh, is that good for me? Most people don't really care about you. Maybe your mom and dad and a few close friends, but trust me, most people will take advantage of you if they get the chance, okay? Let's just be honest. Humans are tribal by nature. Tribes, if they can, they take from the other tribe. That's been going since Native Americans in every continent on the planet. And so what you got to do is you have to understand, how do I stop people long enough to get them to see the other side of the story? And that's what Apple did. People weren't using computers, and Steve Jobs, I think it was in 1984, he does this TV commercial, and he does this conference, and he comes out, and people were just going, wow, this Steve Jobs and his company Apple, I want that. I see his side of the story. I need to stop using a calculator to do my stuff, or a notepad. I'm gonna get one of these computers. In 1984, not many people had computers. Remember that. There wasn't a computer in every house. Now most houses have 1 to 5 computers. There was no iPhones, no iPads. This one man, and I would say that, you know, Bill Gates was also good at this, but Bill Gates was better at technical. He wasn't as good on the persuasion side. And that's why over time, Apple built a bigger brand, more loved brand. People don't love Microsoft. They use Microsoft. But not many people are like, oh, I love Microsoft. And that's because Jeff Bezos, why do I keep calling Jeff Bezos Steve Jobs? SJ, Steve Jobs. That's why Steve Jobs was just able to look at a person and intuitively understand, I got to get them to see how powerful this computer thing is. And if you have an idea in your head, most people aren't going to buy into it. Most people you meet aren't going to go, ooh, I want to buy from you. No, they're already buying from somebody. That's one of my mentors, Alan Nation, told me. It's always hard to start something new as an entrepreneur because people don't want to try something new. I'll give you an example. If you go around the world, Italy, Germany, London, Australia, Africa, South America, you know what, and you see Americans traveling, you see Americans travel all the way to Paris, France, which has some of the best food in the world, or Italy, best food in the world, right? And they go to a McDonald's, which they could get back in America. It's not very good food. I mean, it's horrible for you, and it's not good. But here's my question for you. Why wouldn't you try French food when you're in France? It's famous for the best chefs in the world. Same with Italy. I can tell you why now. I didn't understand it until my mentor taught me about cognitive biases, risk aversion. People don't like new stuff. And so you're going to have to master the 25 cognitive biases, or else people aren't even going to listen to you. That's why 90% of business owners, of entrepreneurs, are broke or bankrupt within 5 years. 90% of them fail. And the ones that do succeed, most of them never make more than 40 grand a year. And I know why. They learn this, but they don't learn that. And man, you better learn all of them. Can you get them, see if they got some food? I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Okay. Could be regular food or just like a bar. I haven't eaten one of those bars in a while. Okay. What's up, man? Alovena Nessa says hello. Is there a book about the 25 cognitive biases? Yes and no. I've got in my accelerator program online, I train people on these 25. There's a book, but there's a guy named Cialdini. Cialdini is one who wrote a book called Influence. There's another book called, it's by Charlie Munger, and it's called Poor Charlie's Almanac. It's not by him, it's written about his speeches. That's one, but you got to piece it together. I have learned it from a guy named Dr. David Buss, who was a Harvard professor. Now he teaches at University of Austin, and he's world-renowned evolutionary psychologist. And so I've been learning from private mentors, but I started out learning from those books. But I've also sold a lot of stuff online. And by selling a lot of stuff online, I've learned my own tricks. And my business partner, you know, me and Alex combined have spent over $500 million on Facebook and YouTube ads on our own businesses. Which of these should I try? I'm getting ready to come out with my own protein bar company. Which one? Should I do the RX bar? This one my brother loves. The Superfood Slam Pro Bar Meal. It's got 10 grams of protein. This one has how much? 12 grams. How much sugar? This has got 23 grams of sugar. Got to watch that damn sugar, boy. They try to. This one only has 12 grams. All right, this one's winning. Should I try? Oh, this is a company that they want me to invest in. So they'll be happy I'm giving them a shout out. I don't own it yet, so I don't make any money off this shout out. This one, I might try this one. This is the Tao Mountain Energy Bar. Taos. I think that's where they're from in New Mexico. But let me look at this thing. 20 grams of sugar. This one I don't think is a protein bar. This is more like a carb bar for energy. 6 grams of protein. Balance bar. Uh-oh. This looks like it's not going to be good. 15 grams. 14 sugar. Ah. Oh, it's got the 40-30-30 nutrition principle. I don't know who owns this company. I might try this. 40-30-30 is like, you know, 40 carbs, 30 fat, 30 protein. Your macros. You got Cliff Bar. Cliff Bar is okay, but Cliff Bar got 19 grams of sugar. Okay. What do you guys say? Which one do I go with? Anybody? Any advice here? Taking a little break. Somebody said the word yucky. Which one's yucky? Make a protein shake. I own a protein shake company. I already had one. Somebody said, you gonna get diabetes. I tested my blood. I got low blood sugar. I don't have blow. I don't have blow. Freudian slip. I don't have blow. I don't have, my A1C is not that high. Yeah, everyone says this balance bar. This one's good. I'm gonna call this company and be like, man, you need to pay me to promote you. Low glycemic index. Hey, bring this to my brother Ben. I know how to make a bar. I think we know how to make a better one than most of these companies. Not to sound cocky, but we got a few tricks up our sleeve. But I do like to learn from other companies. This one's good, man. Pretty good. Sugar is a drug. This only has 12 grams. You can't have 0 sugar. Because things get converted. Carbs get converted into sugar. You're going to have sugar. I don't know what would happen if you went to 0. You'd probably die. You'd probably die, I mean. This one's good. People want to start a conspiracy that I'm actually promoting this company to make money. It should be. All right. I'm going to answer 3 questions now. Personal questions about finance, or personalized answers about finance questions. No, I don't have hypoglycemia either. I'm talking about my A1C level, which looks back over. I've spent a lot of money doing health experiments the last years. Tried all kinds of stuff. I'm working on a book called The $1 Million Body, what I learned spending $1 million in 5 years. Testing everything. How do you get investors with bad credit? I like that. Thoughts on using credit cards? Don't be stupid. If you're stupid with credit cards are like a pit bull. If you do them right, they can save your life. If not, they'll turn around and eat you, kill you. What do you do with 150 grand? Divided in different buckets. Probably 50 grand, 50 grand, 50 grand. Put 50 grand to educate yourself on how to make more than 150. Keep 50 grand in cash and invest 50 grand back into what's already working. That's what I would do. What's your views on multi-level marketing, Ty? Good place to learn sales. I'm not anti-multi-level. I don't do multi-level. I tried it once a long time ago. I know people make a ton of money on multi-level. Some people think it's a scam. I don't think it's a scam. I'll tell you what happens with multi-level marketing, the good and the bad. The bad is people come in with unrealistic expectations. They go, I'm getting into this MLM, Ty. I'm going to make $1 million my first year. No. If you have realistic expectations, you can be okay. And it's a great place to learn this. You know, cold call, sales, door-to-door sales. Ty, would you consider apprentice? Yep, that's what I did when I was 19. Somebody said, why are you eating, dude? Disgusting. I told you I'm taking a break. It's not that disgusting when people eat. But that's a good point. If you're overly sensitive in life, you're always going to be behind, man. Never be easily offended. If you get offended easily, you will never, in my experience, make $1 million because you got to have thick skin, my friend. Ask anybody, millionaire, if they're easily butthurt about everything or if they have thick skin. How are you going to, I don't even know how people survive in life without thick skin. I like this question. Conor McGregor versus Khabib. Here's my prediction, because I honestly have no idea who will win. My prediction, I'm saying it here live, is that Conor McGregor, you can never count him out. He's a champion. He's amazing skill, especially striking. If Conor McGregor wins, it'll be relatively early in the fight. First couple rounds, he'll do best. If Khabib can survive that and things start going into a wrestling on the ground match, Khabib is damn good, and the odds start tipping in favor of Khabib. That's my guess. I'm not a professional fighter. That's my amateur opinion. So yeah, okay. Somebody said, Ty, is that Taylor Swift in the background? Nope. That is a painting from an artist named Casey Bow in Brooklyn, upcoming artist. And he showed me a picture of the girl. It's not a celebrity. Okay. Love the picture of the lion. That's from National Geographic. I just put that up today. Okay. Couple things. Let me mention this. I don't even know how long. I'm gonna mention this real quick. I'm gonna put up a link here. What is the overall link? If you don't, I'm gonna put the link. Oh, there's for Instagram. What's my overall one? You can just go here real quick. TaiLopez.com/what? Accelerator 1. Go here, because if you drop off the call or whatever, I'm gonna open this back up, this accelerator. I'm gonna talk about this for a second, and then I'm gonna go back, to, that's a funny comment. I won't even read that one. All right, tailopez.com/accelerator1. Instagram, I'm gonna reset you in a second, because they only have an hour.
Sure.
So, let's talk about this accelerator. In 2014, I opened this up. It's one of the first things I ever did online. And I've opened it up. I don't think I've had it open for a year or two. If you want to go through for the next 3 months and have me and my team and my mentors and my business partners train you step by step in these 3 things that they don't teach in school and they basically don't even teach in college, we will do that. I'm going to open this up for 1 week and then I'm going to close it. Just because I've always found if you want to know who's really interested in something, put a time frame on it. For example, if you're dating somebody and you want to get married and it's been 5-10 years and they haven't proposed, you may want to put a time and go, listen, I'm not going to wait 40 years for you. By putting time frames on things, you see who's serious. And I only want to train serious people. So if you're serious, we got 3 levels. I'm going to put the link to the personal finance level. I don't let just everybody into the entrepreneurship and persuasion because it's more powerful stuff. It's more proprietary stuff that I have in there. So what you do is I'm going to put an application. You can apply to be in the program. You got a week to do it or less, depending when you're watching this, okay? And then you can talk. Basically, you're going to get access to this, and I have a concierge team that's going to train you. When you talk to them on the phone, they'll basically quiz you on if you're ready for these 2 levels. So there's 3 levels. This is, like I said, it's not a college degree. You don't get a piece of paper. It's not accredited. I'm not trying to be something that it's not, or not trying to make it out to be something. But it's real learning from real people who have made money. That I can promise you. Okay? So you come in here. If you already know about this, you're already more advanced. When you talk on the phone to my team, there's a phone scheduler. You'll set the time. The training begins this week. Okay? You can talk to them if you think you're qualified for this. The way we do it, we have an application, 100% refundable deposit. If you talk to my team and you're not a good fit, they're going to refund you the deposit. We're not trying to keep the money. If you decide to stay in the program, then the deposit becomes the payment. I don't do it for free. Colleges ain't free. Your public school wasn't free. The average kid in New York City, over $150,000, I think it's $220,000, was spent on their high school, junior high, and elementary school to learn nothing. So I don't do it for free. Some people get super pissed about that, but I don't care, honestly. I've explained why I don't do that. I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm just saying people will pay $5 for a Subway sandwich or a Big Mac, and people won't spend $5 on a book, which could it could give them an idea that helps them make $100 grand or $1 million. That's how the society we live in. People will pay $5 for a Big Mac, which is basically junk food, but they won't spend $5 on a book. You could buy a book by Sam Walton, who built Walmart, called Made in America for $5. And 99% of people you ever meet in your whole life haven't spent $5 on that. So you should never give everything you do for free, or else people will abuse it. But I'm going to set it at a low enough price, and I'm going to put a link. If you're on Facebook, there should be a link at the top. If you're on YouTube, there should be one in the description or the title. Twitter, Instagram, or if you're on my website watching, you can just go right here. tailopez.com/accelerator. That's the number 1. Okay? Or you can just click the link. We have it pinned on Instagram. Now, I'm going to open up for a week. And like I said, there's a refundable deposit. That shows people are serious. It's very cheap compared to going to college. College right now, what is college on average? Hold on, so somebody's texting me.
My sister's spending 55 G's this year.
Your sister's college is 55,000. Oh my
It's
lord.
co-sign a loan.
You had to co-sign a loan?
Yeah.
That's scary, man. That is scary. 55 grand. I was talking, me and my friend saw a billboard for Azusa College, which is 44,000 a year if you take their upgraded cafeteria plan. And I'm going, okay, I can understand 44,000 for Harvard. I do not understand 44,000 for Azusa. Somebody said, well, you get a good job at the end of a degree. No. Welcome to planet Earth. In the modern world, in America, it's not like that anymore. It was like that in the 1950s, but not anymore. It's not very rare to have a bachelor's degree. So if you want to learn from the School of Hard Knocks, we got it. I'm going to read off the names of some of the people who get in, by the way. Let me read off. I haven't even explained. I don't want to spend too much time explaining this. But if you are one of those people who gets what I'm saying, come in here. If you're one of those people who likes to fight the truth, don't go in it, because as I told you before, you don't have the mindset to do it. If you're somebody who buys in, you're not gullible, you're not naive, but you're optimistic, I'm going to give you, I think it's about 50 hours of training in this program. Don't quote me on that. If you go through all three. Actually, can you pull this?
Yeah.
We'll pull this around. We're going to talk, here's some of the stuff. Some of the stuff. We're bringing over, I had them write it out so I don't have to write it all out. This is just for the accelerator program. Yeah, we got bonuses, free bonus. The free bonus stuff I added is worth twice what you're going to pay. So you're basically not paying for it. I mean, you are paying, but you're getting tons of bonuses. So do one-on-one, give you access. I want this training, even because it's not like a college where you drive here in person. So I want you to have some personalized access. So I'm going to give you, I built a concierge team that you could talk to. We got over 50 hours, over 50 hours of content. So the money program, we're going to go into the 3-bucket money mastery, how to invest money as you make it, stock market. We'll talk about owning real estate, leveraging. We'll talk about mentors. We'll talk about picking the businesses if you want to go to the next level, entrepreneurship, asset allocation, asset diversification, time value of money, planning for retirement. We got a knowledge bank. Somebody was asking about finding investments, keys to negotiation. These are in the higher level stuff. So there's a lot. We couldn't fit it all on one piece of paper because it cuts off here on the live thing. There's 50 hours worth of stuff. Okay. It's more than anyone, I don't know. Put it this way. I doubt anyone's ever watched it all. It's too much stuff. But I wanted to put too much versus too little. So who's going to get in this group? I'm building a new test group. The new test group is launching. It's open for a week. Hold on here. Sorry. Fabian Diap Straighten. Man, I can't even pronounce them. Our name's getting more complex in the modern world. All right, here was Daniel just trying to pay in California. Looks like your card was declined. If your card's declined, here's Dalton Hermesh from Kansas. What's up, Dalton? All right, let me take some questions about what you're gonna learn or just in general on this subject. Acceleration of income comes from, let me just go back here in case you missed it. It comes from understanding A1, A2, reverse engineering lifestyle, and then mental buy-in, this thing. In order to do this, you have to know these three things: personal finance, entrepreneurship, persuasion skills. You get those three down, everything starts to accelerate. Let's talk about for a second, what would everybody do if your income started accelerating? What would you do? Just a question. No right answers or wrong answers. Let's say you accelerated your income an extra $20,000 this year. So you had an extra 20 grand. Well, we're not even going to talk about millions. Let's just talk about what would you do with an extra 20 grand this year? You got an extra 20 grand. It was unexpected. How would that change your life? That type of acceleration. Someone said they'd split into 3. Somebody said, but like practical stuff, would you buy like a Prada dress? Would you pay off your mortgage or pay it down faster? Would you pay off college debt? Would you go on a trip around the world? Pay off drug court, fam. Okay. That might be a good thing to pay off. Is drug court 20 grand or is that like a fine? Somebody said 20K isn't much. I know, but let's start baby steps here. We could talk about what you would do with 200 grand or 2 million. Somebody said they put a down payment on a house. That's true. A lot of times you can put 10% down on a house depending on where you live, 20 grand down, buy you a freaking house. Jonathan said he'd buy a Tai Lopez course. Raymond Puerto said he'd take a trip to London. Ryan Burr said he'd use it to advertise his business. Drop shipping, somebody wrote. Buy a flat. I'll give you an example. Now, I have businesses that are, my businesses, if I don't make 100 grand a day in my businesses, I'm depressed. So I've gone up in different levels of revenue, but an extra 20 grand, let me just play this game just like you. I'll tell you an example. Today, I'm launching a new business. It's like a farm to table box. So it'll have meats in there. It'll have chicken in there. And it's from Joel Salatin's farm, Polyface Farms, basically the most famous farm in America for healthy food. And so he's my first mentor. We cut a deal. I was just on the phone. We're gonna be shipping out a box of food directly so you can eat like amazing food that I know where it's from. It's the same food that I'm ordering for my grandma who's 100. I'll be my own grandma. I'm making a customer of the business. I won't charge her any money, but it's gonna cost about 20 grand to get the first pallets of food to the shipping center in Wisconsin. I just did the calculations. It's 20 grand. That business, I don't know how big of it. We're launching it this month. It may become huge. It may become medium sized. I'd guess it'll go medium to large, right? It only takes like 20 grand to start a business that might make 20 million bucks this year. It's crazy how much you can. That's what I'm talking about, leverage. People always think, oh, I want to launch a $20 million business. I need 20 million. No, you don't need 20 million to start a 20 million business. You don't need 10 million. In fact, I started a business that did 50 million, and I put in 100,000 at the beginning. Definitely not more than $1 million at any point, and it did 50 times what was in it. So that's a good ratio. If you put in 20,000, what's 20,000 times 50? $1 million plus, you're in the millions then. So you want that leverage, trust me. Javier said, I like how you have so many businesses, it's great cash flow. Yep, and it's also diversification. You want cash flow and diversification. Somebody said they can 100x money. Somebody said invested in small cryptos. What is the name of your new business with Joel Salatin? That's a good question. We're deciding. We got like 4 different names. So I might post a poll on Twitter. That's the last. I usually pick the name last. Most people who aren't trained correctly in entrepreneurship, they pick the name is the most important thing to them, which like makes no sense. The name is not the most important part of business. You do want to have a decent name, but it's not that important. All right. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at something else. Todd, do you know Riyadh? Kobe said he'd buy $20,000 worth of books. That's a lot. Mark Cuban opposes diversification due to lack of knowledge. Well, Mark Cuban's pretty damn diversified. He owns a TV channel. He's on Shark Tank. He owns the Dallas Mavericks. He owns tech companies. He's a VC. I'd say Mark Cuban's about as diversified. He might be saying at the beginning you might not want to be diversified into 100 things, but you definitely at the end want to be. What about blogging? You can make money blogging. How can we get out of school, Tai, and do something? I'm telling you right now. Somebody said they'd buy one of your properties. I don't have any properties you could buy for 20 grand. But maybe you mean to try to leverage them? Did I read Elon Musk's book? I don't think he has an autobiography, does he? He has a biography. Someone said, how many businesses are you invested in? Man, more than I can remember. I got to keep an Excel spreadsheet. Yeah. Hold on. Tai, you're a very good businessman. Do you know anything about real estate? Enough to be dangerous. Best book you've read so far this year, Claudio Robles. Yeah, I would say Self-Deception, The Folly of Fools by Robert Trivers, about self-deception. It's an insane book. I warn you, you may not be able to handle what it says. How about Marcus Lemonis from TV show The Prophet? Is he diversified? I have never seen that show. I know nothing about that guy. I don't really watch TV. I know Shark Tank just because I know Mark Cuban personally, but I can't tell you. Do you recommend Amazon FBA? Do I recommend selling on Amazon? Yes, as part of an overall plan. Not just, I wouldn't just do Amazon. I would do multiple things. Okay, the E-Myth is a good real estate book. E-Myth isn't really a real estate book. That's actually an entrepreneur book. E-Myth by Michael Gerber is all about lots of stuff. Can you teach how to sell on Amazon so that I could get out of school? That's what we're doing in this accelerator. You got 1 week to get in the accelerator, and we're going to go deep. Just about anything you name. Real estate, you ready to learn it? Accelerator. I love Marcus, he will give you rum. Do you mean he will give me a run? Or do you mean he will give me rum if I meet him? Do you like rum, Adrian? You a rum drinker?
Rum guy.
He's not really a rum guy. What are you? Tequila. Oh, how much is the accelerator? So let's go through it. So, accelerator. So it's a one-time deposit, 100% refundable of $497. Oops, 100%. Okay, and that's one-time access. It's not monthly. It's just one time. That gets you access to level 1. Then we got level 2 and level 3, but that's not for everybody, so I don't want to get into that. So that's the deposit level, okay? And then that gets you instant access. You'll be in the personal finance, the money, the investing. You'll be learning that. And here's the way to think. Always think about money divided up is the way I think about it. Oh, here's cool. Turek J. For anyone who thinks Tai's stuff is bullshit, think again. I used his program a few years ago, started a business which allowed me to retire at age 27 years old. I don't even know who that is. Do you know who Turek J is? Somebody said, why would anybody refund? That's the best money they've ever spent. So that's how much it costs to get in. For some of you, it's too much money. It's not that much money. If you divide that up, it's about, let's say it's you're going to take 4 months to go through it, 3 months to go through it, $500 divided by 4. There's like $100 a month it will, and then how much is that? That's like $5 a day. And it takes money to make money. You have to invest in yourself, not just in the stock market, just not in real estate. The best thing to invest in your brain. And I've been telling people this for years, and some people get it and they buy in and other people don't. And the people who buy in, like, it's amazing the results they have. It's insane. Like I said, I don't know who this guy is, but he retired at age 27. Most people work for 30 to 40 years. Sounds like he did it in 5 years. Why find at $497, not $499 or $500? They say $497, that ending in 7. I've had good results, but it doesn't really matter. You're not going to get a big change in going from $499 to $400. Some people are like, oh, what's the exact right? It doesn't matter. But you got to pick something. So you flip a coin. Javier says, I support your views and ideas. Keep at it. Just got the book, The Follow Your Fools. Thanks. That's crazy, but it's definitely possible to retire at a young age. One of my first business partners, John DeWar, he had retired and he was like 30. The reason he got back in business with me, he was older than me, was his wife got sick of having him around the house. She's like, go out and do something. That's a good problem to have. You make so much money, you retire, but then your wife, or maybe it's not a good problem, but your wife kicks you out of the house. You ever heard Chris Rock's thing? He's like, you can't please women. He's like, if you don't have a job, your wife or girlfriend's like, why don't I make more money than you? Why don't you have a job? Get your lazy ass out there. And then he's like, if you got a job, then they're like, why aren't you ever around? No. Anyway, it's funny when Chris Rock said it, but if I had the choice between either one, I'd rather get kicked out of the house because I retired and my wife's sick of having me around, or my girlfriend. That was a better problem. You definitely don't want to be getting kicked out of the house for being freaking, broke. There was a guy who was a janitor who's a millionaire who had no job. He was just bored. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. When I was in New Zealand years ago, there was a news article about this guy who was mowing grass, but he was a multi-millionaire. He had, I think, actually won the lottery, but he got sick of just being at home, so he just went around to people and goes, pay me like $10 and I'll mow your grass. We got what is that guy's name? This is a while ago in New Zealand. That's the problems I want each of you to have. You're so bored, you start mowing your neighbor's grass just to be nice. Because you look in your bank account, you're like, ooh, my bank account's is fine, but I'm bored. I'm sick of just sitting here being relaxed. I don't know, go do something crazy, Someone said, Master Jedi said, Tai, I would be so lazy if I won the lottery. Well, that's great to know.
Someone asked if you'd mentor him for 100K.
Would I mentor you? I have a program for higher level individual mentoring that's between $100,000 and $1 million that people pay me, but I don't do it that often, to be honest. It's funny. There's a guy, he's under 30. He paid me, I don't know, 6 figures to mentor him. This is just 2 months ago. I gave him one piece of advice. It's funny, now he doesn't even, I gave him one piece of advice. He's gonna make, I would say he's gonna make 10 or 20 times what he paid me. And I forget what he paid me, like $100,000 to $400,000, just to be able to talk to me on my WhatsApp and stuff. And I gave him one piece of advice on how to change his landing pages and funnels. And he's like, dude, I got everything I need. I don't even need to talk to you anymore. That's the power of advice that people don't get. That is the freaking power of advice, man. And yes, Zach, that looks good. I like any of those. What's finale one?
This one up the Nazi guy.
Yeah, that looks good. Or the other one. No, what's the one about Margot? Oh, I thought that was Margot Robbie. I was like, it's just the character's name, Margot. Fuck that one. Yeah, finale or what is that last one? That looks. Is that at ArcLight?
Yeah, that's the only Showtime left on.
That thing looks weird, man. Okay.
Time period piece.
One day I will be drinking coffee for you. How much does it cost for the food product business that you're starting? Depends on how you count it. I bought a few farms to run it, and that cost about, I don't know, $5 million. That's more expensive. Don't try to get in the food business. That's a very expensive business. All right, hold on. I got to do something, guys. Hold on. Hold your horses. Any good questions for me, Sam?
Yeah, well, someone asked earlier, what do you think business will be like in 20 years?
What do you think business will be like in 20 years? Easy. It'll be just all kinds of everyday people owning businesses, making 100, 200, $300,000, you know? Instead of big corporations. There's still going to be a big corporation, don't get me wrong. But for example, now Amazon enables, even though it's a big corporation, it enables regular people to make money on it. Liz, who teaches in one of my programs, she's making $500,000 a month and she's making six-figure profit a month. She dropped out of college, she had a college degree playing basketball, and she launched that business, and she was empowered by knowing how to do this. That's the key. You got to know how to do this. All right. What other questions, Sam? Owning a restaurant is hard. Okay, we got this accelerator. Click on the link. Most people are going to procrastinate on this. It's insane. Too many people procrastinate. You should be spending 10% of your net income on training yourself every month. Maybe I should have just done this whole call and just go, you know what the secret to making money? Spend 10% of your net income after you pay your necessary bills, you know, food, water, shelter kind of things. Spend it on learning how to make more money. You do that, you'll be good forever. What should I call that term? I need to come up with that. If you're not spending 10% of your net income on education, you can be broke a long time. A long time. I repeat, a long time. Everyone ears up, this part is important. Yep, that's it. So if you had $2,000, what would be the best business to invest in? Divide that into 3 buckets, keep $700 in cash, $700 invest in the business, $700 invest in education. 3 bucket investing, man. I invented that concept in like a long time ago, over a decade ago. I've helped a lot of people with that simple framework of thinking. You got to put it back into learning. You do. Training, mentors, all that stuff. But it's not just one thing. It's books, it's this, it's that. It's all of it in one. All of it. All right, now I got this. Tai, why haven't you answered my questions? I don't know, because I'm looking down at my phone. Oh yeah, Claudia Robles says, Tai, remember you saying that in a live call 2 or 3 years ago, and you called it the quarter rule, where you spend 25% learning. You got a good memory, man. Tai, I call it the Babylon rule. Is that like from the richest man in Babylon kind of thing? I like it. All right, what else we got? What other questions? Sam, sorry, I'm doing, this call went longer.
Payment plans for the program?
Payment plans. I'm not sure if we have, click the link. I'm not sure we're doing a payment plan. This is a little bit different.
No payment plan.
Yeah, there's no payment plan because this is a little higher level thing for people a little more serious. I do the payment plans on stuff that's, people want to learn. A ton of people want to just dip their feet in the water, but that's not what this is. This is for people who have bought in. Tai, I've gotten the most sales out of anybody today at Barnes & Noble and yesterday. Is there anything I do to better my sales skills? Oh, you mean you work at Barnes & Noble? So they track your commissions? I mean, your sales. Do you get a commission? I would say that my answer to that is learn the 25 cognitive biases. Memorize them, put them on 3x5 note cards. Do not leave home without them. What's so special in the book? The One Thing. It's a good book on focus.
They asked a good way to beat procrastination.
How do you beat procrastination? Hang out with people who don't procrastinate. That's how you do it. Hang out with people that don't procrastinate. That's exactly how you do it. Where's the wrapper of that bar I ate? I want to scan that in real quick. I forgot about that. All right, I'm going to wrap up here in a second. I am going to wrap up. See, anybody use my Fitness Pal? That thing is badass if you want to see what you're eating. Oh man, the barcode got messed up. Shoot.
I'll get another one.
You got one?
I mean, I'll get one from the box.
Yeah, that one's gonna need. Yeah, can you grab one out of the box? Hang out with people and get you more accountable. Yeah. You basically you are what people are around you. That's how the game goes. When people are around you who aren't procrastinating, it rubs off on you. How old were you when you started first business? Well, if you don't count a tomato stand when I was like 6, my first business was 19. Same business I'm going into this month. I was in the business of food business when I was 19 with Joel Salatin. Grass-fed beef. Difference between 10 mil and 10 mil? Is that like a trick question or something? Ty, is this pre-recorded again? No. I'm back to being worried about planet Earth. All right, let me see that. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, my Fitness Pal, if you do it right, you can just scan everything right in. Boom. Damn, that bar's got a lot of calories though. Huh. 210. Interesting. Not that that's that much, but it's just, I didn't expect that little ass bar would have 210 calories. Okay, so you got a week to get in. I'm leaving this open for 1 week, and then I'm closing it back up. Like I said, I've had it closed for a year or two. It was this program, we probably let in 1,000, 2,000 people, maybe even more. It was a game changer. It's just when I launched some of my other stuff, social media, marketing agency, which were different. Really, if you're in any of my other programs, you definitely should be in the accelerator. That's a no-brainer because or else you're not gonna know what to do once you make money. So I'm gonna peace out. Click on the link below or in the corners here. If you're on live, you can see the link that's pinned or it's in the description. Or if you don't see any of them, tailopez.com/accelerator1. tailopez.com/accelerator1. Pretty easy. Congratulations to Mark Van Z. I see you just got in. Daniel, no last name. Ryan Cranston. Not Brian Cranston.